Hey everyone. Hope you are all doing great. It is Friday and I am excited to be going live with you and chatting with you about portions and portion control, or shall I say not using portion control, and kind of the how and the why behind it. And I'm hoping to provide you with some really concrete examples of how to do that. So before I get into that, I just wanted to share that I had my first Peaceful Mealtimes online workshop a few weeks ago, and it was awesome. I keep it at a very small group in order to give everyone personalized attention. So if you were in that and you're watching, thank you so much for joining. And if you weren't, I'm going to hopefully do that every month, maybe every other month or so. So I'm really excited about it. It's a great way to get some solid information and to be able to ask your questions. I find that a lot of times there is a lot of information out there and a lot of advice, but I know that it's always helpful to get your questions answered and to get that support, which I think that a lot of us need. So that's what I'm hoping that I am for you. So if you're joining, please say hello. I am looking forward to this, and as always, feel free to write any comments or questions in the comment box. I'm hoping I'll be able to see them. The other thing I'm doing is my Peaceful Mealtimes coaching group that I had recently launched. I will be doing another round of that. It's starting in January, so it's about a month and a half after the craziness of the holidays, which I know can get kind of crazy, but I will be posting a lot more about that. But in the meantime, if you have questions about the holidays and feeding, let me know. I know a lot comes up, so I want to be as supportive as I can for you during that time. Just take my jacket off. So, portion size. I decided to talk about this because in my practice and in my personal life, this question has just been coming up so much recently. So I've been getting questions from my clients, from parents and friends and teachers, and just lots and lots of people. So I believe that portion size can be very confusing. A lot of times when we think of portion size, sometimes we think of like the food label and what's listed on the food label, and that's a typical portion size. It's not. The food label really just is a depiction of the amount of nutrients in a given portion of that specific food. I just happen to have food right here, so I'm going to grab it. This is a trail mix from Costco, Wild Roots trail mix, and the portion size is listed on the back as, probably backwards for you guys, but anyway, it's listed as a quarter cup. And in a quarter cup, there's 170 calories, there's 10 grams of fat, there's a certain amount of protein. But that quarter cup, that doesn't mean that that's the amount we should be eating. And really, I truly believe that there is no right or wrong amount that we should be eating. If you've been following me for a while, you know I talk a lot about the division of responsibility, and really we as parents and caregivers, we're in control of what we're providing, the time and the place, but our children are in control of the how much and whether they are eating. What we want to do is to empower our children to trust their bodies. And most of the time, we want to give them access and give them unlimited portions. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So before I lose you, I just want to say that we want to build trust. We want to trust their hunger and satiety cues. Yes, this might mean that if we give them unlimited access to cookies at a certain snack time, they're going to eat the entire thing. Like that's okay. It's okay. It's okay for that to happen at times because we want them to learn that they do have access. So when I talk about this concept of letting them have as much as they want, a lot of times I am met with some resistance. Well, how will my child know that this is enough or that they should be eating more? We want them to be able to trust that the amount that they're eating is enough for them and is okay. When we start placing restrictions or when we start telling them they have to eat a certain amount, that's when we kind of lose this division of responsibility. Remember, the division of responsibility doesn't mean that they're going to be eating, we're going to give them unlimited access to cookies all day long. We're still in charge of the what at mealtime. So that might mean at one snack they're allowed the unlimited cookies, and then a few days later maybe they are, or a week later, whatever kind of works best for you. And a lot of times with this concept, I know, again, I'm met with some resistance, and one of the things that I talk about sometimes is kids who might be preoccupied with a certain food or might crave it more and more. I want you to think, are they ever allowed unlimited access where they know they can have as much as they want? If you do have a child who's going through something like this, I really invite you to just try this, to try giving them that unlimited access maybe a few times in a week and see if that preoccupation lessens. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So my recommendation is to offer them unlimited amounts when it makes sense. And I want to give you a few examples of this and how this might look like in practice. So you're giving them, let's say, cheese, and cheese is on the menu for a snack. You can give them maybe 1 cheese stick or 2 cheese sticks or 3 cheese sticks, thinking about them having unlimited access. However, you don't have to give them the entire bag of cheese sticks. And if you want, you can give them 1 cheese stick. However, when you're giving them that 1 cheese stick, you're giving it to them, or when you're stopping at 1 cheese stick, you're not stopping because you think that they've had too much. You're stopping because maybe you're saving the rest of the cheese sticks for another snack. Or there's only 3 cheese sticks and you have 3 kids, so each child needs 1 cheese stick. Another thing that it's okay to do is, so again, sorry, I'm going to back up, but if you are giving them a limited amount, it's not because you think that they've had too much. It's because you are saving it for another snack. It's because you want the rest of it to go around, and to explain that to them as well. I recommend serving meals family style, and part of the reason that I recommend that, and I'll back up, what I mean by family style is that you put out bowls or plates of food and pass it around the table and allow children to make their own portion size, which I have found can work really, really well and can actually open kids up to trying new things. But let's say you're serving chicken and you have 5 pieces of chicken and 5 members of your family, everyone's going to get 1 piece of chicken. So your child's not going to be able to take more chicken because there has to be enough to go around. So that's pretty much the advice I have on portion control, or I'm thinking of a better word for it, but portion uncontrol, where we don't want to limit our children. I think of families that I work with, or myself even, in growing up with this relationship with food that might not have been the healthiest, where at times I've heard people say, well, I can't keep ice cream in the house because I'll eat all of it, or I can't have goldfish in the house because I'm gonna, eat all of it in one sitting. So part of where that might come from is that restriction. So, I mean, you could even, I encourage you actually to play around. If you do feel you may be restricting yourself, encourage you to play around with this as well. Maybe allow yourself unlimited amounts of something that's kind of been off limits. It might surprise you how when you are allowed that unlimited amount, you don't really want it anymore. Or allow yourself to have unlimited amount today and tomorrow and the next day, and you're not restricting it. Where we have the problem is where we say, okay, well, I'm starting my diet tomorrow where I'm not going to be eating any sugar. So what happens today? You eat all the sugar. But if you know that you're going to be continued to allow as much as you want, it may shift your thinking a little bit. So just some food for thought, pun definitely intended. So a few examples, concrete examples that I want to give you. Let's say we are having ice cream cones on the menu, and I have a package of 8 ice cream cones. the 4 people in my family are having one, and my daughter asked for another one. So what I would say is, Sydney, we're having 1 ice cream cone today. I'm saving the rest so we can have it for a snack later this week. Would you like some more apple or more carrots or more milk, whatever else is on the menu? Would you like some more of that right now? Because that's what we have available. Or let's say cookies are on the menu and we've literally run out of cookies and my daughter is about to have a tantrum. Sydney, I know you really want more cookies. They're so good and you really like them. Right now we don't have any more cookies left. Would you like to help me? Let's write out our meal plan or let's write out our grocery list for next week and we'll put those on the list. And cookies I'm just using as an example. This could be anything. But I really like the idea of validating our children's feelings because sweet foods do taste good and we don't need to sugarcoat that. We don't want to call them treats or we don't want to make them this kind of food on a pedestal, but it's okay to acknowledge that your child likes them. So that might be with apples. So, oh yeah, those apples, they were really good. Oh, it's such a bummer that we're out. We'll put them on our list so we can get them next time. Do you want to help me write that out or shall I do that? So something like that where we are acknowledging and then we're giving them some autonomy to kind of help us make that plan. Okay. Another time where you might not want to offer them unlimited amounts, let's say a food is a condiment, which I come across all the time. So for example, sometimes I'll offer cheese on our chili, like shredded cheese. Sometimes I might allow unlimited amounts, and yes, sometimes my children will only eat shredded cheese for dinner, but it's a great source of protein and calcium, so it's okay with me. But then other times they might just get 1 cup and everybody gets a little cup of cheese, and because that's all the cheese we have, or because we're saving the rest because tomorrow our quesadillas are on the menu. So I hope that these examples make sense. Let me know if they do or they don't. The overall point that I'm making, and I feel like that I make a lot, is that we want them to develop that healthy relationship with food. So by giving them unlimited access, that's okay to do, and it's helping them to trust their own regulation and to trust their bodies. And this doesn't just apply to snacks or sweets or anything like that. This can apply to all foods. So I invite you to take this and think about it. What kind of action step can you take today? Can you try offering something in unlimited quantities and see how your children respond to that? So be a detective, be a food detective, and kind of see how they respond. I do this with a lot of my clients where a lot of this stuff is much easier said than done. So if we can kind of take a step back from our emotions or our feelings or kind of what we bring to the table, so to speak, it can help us discover and to really be an observer in the way that our kids respond. So that's all that I have for you today. I hope this was helpful. Definitely let me know if you're catching the replay, if you watched it live, and I'll be back, and I look forward to chatting more about this. Bye.